Every election there is political rhetoric around the return of Kashmiri Pandits. But this time the BJP has promised reservation for Pandits in the valley. Is this something that can bring them back? Is this something that can enable a homecoming? From Srinagar's Habbakadal constituency, we bring you this special report. This is a constituency that was home to the Pandits, the epicenter of the flourishing Pandit community before the exile, of course, took place, before the exodus took place. And we look at the high-profile Pandit candidates to ask whether this time, can there be a change that takes the story of the Pandits from exile to hope. Till a few years ago, this is what Habbakadal, once the stronghold of Kashmiri Pandits in Srinagar, looked like. Deserted narrow streets, homes that had been locked up for years, termite-ridden wood, mountains of dust, and the eerie sound of silence that had come to define what had been left behind after the Pandits were forced into exile. Today, the noise of politics has smashed the dead stillness that had come to be the reality of Habbakadal. The constituency, where less than 6,000 people voted in 2008, has seen an eruption of electoral activity in 2014, with a number of high-profile Pandit candidates throwing themselves into the fight. Sanjay Saraf, a Kashmiri Pandit contesting on a Lok Janshakti Party ticket, points to the Muslim supporters who surround him and says his community will not vote on religious lines. His party may be part of the NDA government at the centre, but he accuses the BJP of trying to divide voters by proposing reservations for Pandits in the assembly. BJP wants reservation for Kashmiri Pandits in the assembly. Do you support that?
I don't feel like that. Why reservation for any other thing? Why to create caste factor?
Why create a divide?
Of course, why to create a divide section? Let us have an open section. We are all Kashmiris, those who believe our religion is Kashmiriyat. Kashmiriyat means Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Ittihad.
From the BJP, Moti Kaul, a 67-year-old engineering consultant from Mumbai, has returned to the land of his birth. Today he campaigns in the very neighbourhood where he was born and spent 17 early years. Like lakhs of others, he was driven out of his homeland during the insurgency years of the 90s. Now he argues that it's the BJP that has pushed the issue of his community from the margins of public attention to centre stage. What do you think are the BJP's chances in the valley? Because they've never opened their account, they're hoping to open it through you.
Not only through me, there will be many more. I think there will be many more surprises. I think we are doing very well. Essentially what I'm watching and I'm seeing last 2 months is that there's a lot of good feel around everywhere. As the Prime Minister readies for his first rally in the valley, the BJP is hoping that the Modi chemistry and some clever political arithmetic will help it spread influence beyond the Jammu region. In 1987, there were close to 30,000 Kashmiri Pandit families in Habbakadal. Today, that number is drastically down to less than 40. The non-Pandit candidates like journalist-turned-politician Zafar Miraj, a candidate for the PDP, have thus taken their campaign all the way to Jammu to meet with migrant voters there. Miraj says Habbakadal has become a prestige battle for the BJP. Zafar Saab, Habbakadal is a seat that's being watched very closely. The BJP is hoping to open its account here in the valley this time through it. What do you think are their chances?
Plainly, I don't see BJP here on this field. But they are going underground. They brought imams from outside. They are trying to, capture local imams and other people, and they are spending huge money. But I'm confident that they will not succeed in their designs.
So, do you believe that this can become a healing point for the Pandits to return to the valley this election?
Inshallah.
The noise and colour of elections notwithstanding, the Habbakadal seat is situated within downtown Srinagar, for long a separatist stronghold where election boycotts have traditionally worked in the past. As we walk through the gullies of the neighbourhood, several local residents refuse to offer comment on the elections. Then we hear these little children sloganeering.
Election
किसने सिखाया आपको ये बोलना? तो आप तो वोट ही नहीं दे सकते, आप क्या बॉयकॉट करेंगे? हाँ, घर वालों ने सिखाया। हाँ, तो आप तो छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, आपने कैसे सीख लिया ये? आप तो छोटे छोटे बच्चे, किसने सिखाया आपको बॉयकॉट की? हाँ,
मुझे इसी ने सिखाया।
इधर आओ, इधर आओ, इधर।
Soon we are surrounded by a group of animated and angry men who tell us why they will not vote.
गरीब और लोग जो यहाँ पे सड़ रहे हैं, हर वक्त, ये आज की बात नहीं बताऊंगा, मैं हर वक्त यहाँ पे बता दूंगा, गरीब आवाम जो है मर रही है हर वक्त, हमारे अच्छे हुकूक नहीं मिल रहे हैं, असली ये बात है।
तो आप वोट डालेंगे? वोट डालेंगे?
दिल ही नहीं करता, कैसे डालेंगे? किसको डालेंगे? किसको डालेंगे?
आप लोग वोट डालेंगे?
क्यों, कैसे डालेंगे?
नहीं डालेंगे।
In a seat where the 2008 winning candidate polled less than 3,000 votes, ironically, a low voter turnout among local residents and a high migrant vote may suit the BJP's calculations just fine.
Here in Habbakadal, once the epicenter of the flourishing Kashmiri Pandit community before they were pushed into exile, the BJP is hoping to open its account in the Kashmir Valley and end the psychological barrier of being essentially a Jammu-driven party. Home to an estimated 16,000 Pandit voters, the BJP might be banking on high migrant vote and a low voter turnout by the local residents. Either way, when you look at the name Habbakadal, Kadal means bridge, and the big question is whether these elections can build a new bridge between the Kashmiri Pandits and the rest of the state.
Today, there are those for whom the bonds with their Pandit neighbours never broke, despite threats and violence. Just down the lane from the centuries-old Ganesh temple Ganpatiyar, we meet Muhammad Abdullah, a local photographer. He opens up his album of memories for us. He takes us back to a time when he used to film mostly the Amarnath temple and Yatra, weddings of Kashmiri Pandits, and of course the ever-present Bollywood stars. Even today at his store, he says, he makes sure he keeps posters and photographs of saints and holy men sacred to both Muslims and Pandits. For almost 2 decades now, Abdullah has been the guardian of his Pandit neighbour Jawaharlal Kaul's house. Today he opens the locked doors and shows us around inside the now abandoned desolate home. Cobwebbed walls, broken glass, rusty old taps, a mirror draped in dust, the tragic remnants of what was once the home of one of his closest friends. The Om sign painted on the wall, a little metal tray where the puja was once performed, and a few scattered posters on the wall are all that remain now. Abdullah says though he could easily rent the house and make some money, he sees the safekeeping of his friend's home as a promise built on the foundation of trust.
जहाँ तक पंडित के मकान का ताल्लुक है, ये हमारे पास अमानत है और हम अमानतदार हैं। मेरे पास 4-5 मकानों की चाबियाँ थी, उन्होंने बेच दी लगभग, तो अभी एक मकान की चाबी मेरे पास है, ये अमानत है। अगर खुदा न खास्ता मैं चाहूँ, पंडित यहाँ नहीं है, इसमें 8 कमरे हैं, 8 कमरे में से अगर मैं 2 कमरे में किराएदार रखूँ, मेरे को 6,000 रुपये मिलेगा। मेरा फ़ायदा है नुकसान है? फ़ायदा है, लेकिन नहीं, मुझे कल मरना है। कल को मैं उस खुदा को क्या जवाब दूंगा?
At another Ganesh temple in Habbakadal, the pujari of the mandir, Maharaj Kishan, is among the rare Pandit families who did not leave the valley even in the worst years of violence.
कश्मीरी पंडित जो यहाँ से भागे हैं, उनको तो वापस आने चाहिए और हालात धीरे-धीरे ठीक होने चाहिए।
और यहाँ कैसे रिश्ते हैं इस हब्बाकदल के?
बहुत सारे, बहुत अच्छे, बहुत अच्छे।
हाँ?
जब परसों जो सैलाब आया था, परसों जो फ्लड आया था, बाढ़ आई थी, मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई हिंदू भाई हमारे इतना आया जितने हम मुस्लिम यहाँ पे आ गए। उन 4-5 दिन में हमारे घर में ही रहे थे कि नहीं यहाँ से निकलो, यहाँ पर खतरा आया है। सारे तो बहुत मदद की, बहुत ज़्यादा, बहुत बात।
Despite such moving stories of compassion for a displaced people who have been left stateless, pushed out of their own land and forgotten on the very periphery of political debate, this election can only have meaning if it also enables a homecoming. In Habbakadal, with Manu Nair, Arif Radhu, Yamini Joshi, Apta Ramesh and Zafar Iqbal, Barkha Dutt for NDTV.